and they're like, I don't know what's going on. You said it was going live. Blah, 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 blah. So, oh, it did go live. Okay. So now I'm going to tell them it's ready. The announcement's actually ready to go. And so now they will listen as they listen. Okay. So I'm going to write down the timestamp when we start so that way I know where to cut it off. I forgot my printer's not working. How was her weekend?
Weekend was good. I went to that John Williams thing.
Oh, did they do that this year? Because he could. I was gonna go, but then they announced he couldn't make it, and so I was like, meh.
Yeah, so I was talking about that with the friend I was with, and my sister was there as well, and a couple other people met us, and none of them, including everyone in the immediate vicinity, were aware of the fact that John Williams was indisposed and couldn't perform.
Oh,
So I was the bearer of bad news to several.
yeah. Look, I've gone pretty much every year. Like John Williams and the RuPaul's Drag Race finales are very
Yeah,
similar to me.
yeah. Well,
And
this one was kind of sick because they didn't. I mean, granted, I would have been happy to hear the Jurassic World theme and Harry Potter and stuff like that, but he really diverged and didn't do the main affairs. He didn't do Indiana Jones. He didn't do Jaws.
well, I almost wonder if because they usually save that for John Williams, and I wonder if it was almost too late to change the program.
Maybe. I mean, it was still John Williams, but they just did like his Olympic opening ceremony
Yeah, yeah,
suite,
yeah.
which
Oh,
was
because the
really
Olympics is here.
awesome.
Oh, the one from Atlanta is amazing.
Oh, I don't know
Summon
if
the
it was that one
Heroes.
specifically.
Okay, is it the really famous one or the not? He has two.
I
He has the
couldn't
one
tell
from the
you
LA
because I
Olympics.
wasn't aware that he even did any of that.
Oh yeah, he did. He did. So the hold on, you're making me.
I'm
You're
sure you
making
could
me work.
Google. Yeah, it
Oh
was like
wait,
the
we're on YouTube, so I can't do
NBC
this shit. No, no,
something.
no, no. So there's the one that goes the dun 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 dun. Was it that one?
Yeah, but Loki, I thought that was every Olympic theme.
That no, that's the Olympic theme.
Oh,
So then, so what happened? What? God, John Williams nerdy stuff. That one part existed already, and then he expanded on it.
yeah, that makes sense.
But then there's one called "Summon the Heroes" for the that he wrote the whole thing for Atlanta. They use that a lot on NBC for the packages and stuff like that. And that one, the whole thing is, did they do more than one Olympic song?
Yeah, I want to say they did two or three,
Yeah, yeah. So
but
Summon,
in
because then he did the Winter
because I'm
Olympics
not
too.
familiar with the compositions, I wasn't sure how
Yeah,
much. Yeah,
Summon the Heroes is a badass. Dun, 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 dun. I'm a big John Williams fan. But anyway, what the point I
that
was going to
sounds
make
right.
was, yeah,
I
go ahead.
What was the point? No, I
The
was waiting
point
for
was I've
you.
seen him the past few years, and he's very, very old. Like he used to do the whole
Yeah,
show
yeah.
before. Anyway, should we start this?
Like that was the peak of my orchestral conductor wanting.
I think he's a good one. I've gotten in fights with people about him, like people who are like real classical music nerds. Even I wouldn't consider him classical music. They're like, "Oh, you do,"
Sure.
like they hate him, and I don't know. I actually don't understand the hate because he's not really a shit talker. Um, I am going to go into because you're a little delayed. I'm going to do the thing where we both upload at the end. Okay. I'll give it a few seconds to catch up.
Okay.
Any other news from the world of Roberto Mata? We see each other on Wednesday.
True. Nothing dramatic. No, everything's good and chill. It's just right now it's regular time, just working and dating and seeing people and going to the beach and blah 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 blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. It's
Any
very
other news
very standard.
on this guy that ghosted you or not ghosted you? He didn't ghost you at all. The one who broke up, quote unquote, with you.
I'd say maybe the more accurate term is dump.
Okay, sure. I didn't want to go there, but yeah.
No news. Which is great. Because I uh Well, it's like I told you, it was like a momentary hit to the ego, and then I was like, okay, party, and then I just continued on. Also, the farther I get away from it, the more I realize, truly, like I said on the initial call, that I really did dodge a bullet because I'm like not prepared to be entangled with someone who needs to talk to me 24/7 and is super clingy. I just can't. I don't have the time. I was looking at my weekends. I'm literally booked out until mid-October,
Oh my gosh.
and I'm sure that will up soon as well.
What do you like? What are you doing this weekend? What are the big plans this weekend?
This weekend, I have 3 different birthday parties to jump into.
Oh my gosh! All on Saturday or Saturday and Sunday?
Both.
Oh,
And all birthday at the beach Saturday that bled into another birthday on Saturday that I'm missing half of because I need to figure out a way to do it, and then wake up on Sunday and go straight to another one, and then we'll see where that leads. But hopefully, it leads to me being in my bed watching House of the Dragon with fried chicken.
I have a really busy week, which I don't like. 'Cause I was telling my cousin that it's with me, it's when it rains, it pours. So like I'm gonna have a super busy
Yeah,
this week, and then nothing for 3 weeks, which I'm actually now fine with. But
for
so
sure.
like today, Lori and Star are taking me out for my birthday.
Where are you going?
Tomorrow I'm supposed to see a movie with John Paul, even though the way the timing might work out, I might see if John Paul can move it till to today, the movie we're supposed to see, and then I don't do anything tomorrow. Wednesday we have
But
our
what
thing.
what restaurant are you going to?
Verskuche.
I don't know.
Wednesday, uh our thing. High tops.
Mm-hmm.
Los Feliz. Thursday, I have something Thursday. I don't know what I have Thursday, but I have something Thursday. Oh, another movie with John Paul, which I would love. I hope John Paul gets sick and cancels. And then
Why don't you just say,
Friday,
hey, maybe one movie this week is enough for me?
maybe I'll say that to him. That might actually work out because Thursday he likes to go home. So, anyway, we'll see. That might be possible. So then Friday, and then I have to squeeze in. SDC is visiting in LA. I would have invited her to our afterthought get together, but she comes in Thursday, not Wednesday.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. And then Saturday is my cousin's birthday. And then Sunday, I was actually going to invite you and Christian to Chris and Mercedes' house, but
Oh,
you're busy and Christian's busy. So no.
is it during the daytime?
During the daytime.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
afternoon. Afternoon.
Hmm. I mean, I will need. Unfortunately, every night of mine is also filled up as well. Granted,
Hmm.
not the whole night, but just like at least like 2 or 3 hours every night.
Yeah.
In which case, I need to go home and decompress before going
No,
into the
no.
office and
When
doing
you
it
told me that,
again.
I get it. I'm like you. I
Yeah.
would be like, no.
But I like it, especially right now where I'm
Hmm.
not dating anyone specifically, so
Hmm.
I don't have to like sit on my lonesome and like start to feel existential about, oh my God, I'm
No.
so alone,
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start this show. Let me see. We're gonna start in 5 seconds. Welcome back.
Bienvenidos.
Yeah, we're actually doing this live today. We actually, strangely, have a lot to talk about in terms of Drag Race, and a lot to discuss. Not about this season. That was, girl. She missed her cue and now she's going late. And I really like this song. But Christian, he loves to hate. Cue the sniper girl. Last week, Christian sang it.
That's cracked me up, honestly.
Oh. He did a good job.
Yeah, I didn't know Christian had pipes.
Oh yeah, Christian won like East LA's Got Talent like 2 years in a row.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
He
yeah.
definitely won Modesto's Got Talent like 5 years running.
Oh yeah, yeah. He would go in there and sing his corridos, and everybody would clap
In his pink cowboy boots.
in his pink cowboy boots and shuffle along. Robert Mata, hello. How the hell are you? How's life treating you? Robert and I we just did a Just Between Us Girls, but
We really
not.
did.
I guess it was recorded. It was recorded, but I don't have any plans on releasing it. It wasn't terrible. It was about John Williams And
Mhm.
you know what I should have talked about in Just Between Us Girls is I wanted to talk to you about my workout today, because now, I have an AI designed workout.
Uh-huh.
And today I shifted into the new phase. Uh, and this is push and pull.
Oh,
So,
already?
oh, yeah. Mondays is push day, Wednesdays is pull, and Fridays is leg day.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Well,
And so,
with legs, you're often pushing, so I'm a little
yeah,
confused on how that
that's what I
works.
thought. I thought it was weird that they didn't know it was a separate day for legs.
Got it. Which is good. I mean, and you can say all you want, and it's a fair enough quip that I skip leg day, but I don't. It just, I know all the machines you talk of,
Well,
speak of.
no, I listen. I don't really think you skip leg day. The people who skip leg day are the twinks that gather around the calf machine, and
Ugh.
say, "I'm feeling gapey today," and then
Or the
um,
or the or the bitches who chill on the leg press machine and just scroll on their phone for about 20 minutes without doing a single rep.
I sent Robert a picture of my gym, and that was crowded for my gym.
It looked
Uh,
actually fairly busy. I would say that's usually what my gym looks like at
okay,
1 p.m. on a weekday.
okay, this was at 9:30 or 10. If you went at 11, and I can't wait until the school year starts again because there are a lot of like high school kids there.
Oh hell no.
But at 11, but I will say I had no trouble getting on any of my machines, including whatever you called that machine that I don't know the name of it,
It's the fly machine,
the fly machine.
which is it sounds like universally the most popular machine in every gym. Another one where people like to sit their ass on their phone and scroll for it way too long.
I'm telling you, I go in, I get my shit done, and I leave. It is not a social event for me. It is not a cruising event for me. Who would I cruise?
Well,
And
never
who
go
would
to
cruise me?
Crunch or Equinox West Hollywood. That's for sure.
Let me tell you that it's so funny. So there's somebody I was talking to recently. His name rhymes with sailor. And he showed me, the guys he likes. And I already knew this. But I have noticed it's a theme at Afterthought that there's a soft spot, so to speak, for like pudgy white bearded guys. They're just considered, they have their own thing and people love them at Afterthought, right?
Okay.
Which is not my style. My style is problematic Latino twunks. Like, for instance, I am lusting after this Ryan Garcia. I know the horrible things that he's done, but he is so fucking cute to me.
He looks a
Anyway,
little dangerous, and I don't like people who look dangerous. I like to
I
feel
know
safe.
it looks like he would fucking impregnate me and then kill me because I didn't abort the baby.
So like
Anyway,
true trade.
oh yeah, he's the definition of trade. Yes. So anyway, he made an apology video that addressed none of the things he did and said he was sorry because it's really affected his life. Anyway,
Yeah, that makes
yeah,
perfect
yeah.
sense.
So, but I was talking to my cousin today, who I expected not to necessarily agree with me. I know his type, but he also has a soft spot for the pudgy white guy, and I'm like, what are people seeing? I wish I had that. I wish
Hmm.
I had that. Thank you.
I mean, I really could not go on. I don't know psychosexually why, but they probably look very comfortable and cozy and warm,
Maybe that's what. Oh, I forgot to
and they're
mention bearded,
generally
pudgy
kind of
bearded white guy.
non-threatening.
Yeah, maybe yeah, maybe it looks like somebody like they're gonna want to go to Chili's with you, uh, and not try and have the salad. I
Do
don't
the two for
know.
20.
Yeah, get the 2 for 20 and get themselves like some sort of sugary cocktail, and you guys go home and play some sort of video game.
Sounds peaceful. Maybe a little too peaceful for me, but I support everyone who wants that.
By the way, for those of you who are worried we're not going to talk about Drag Race, we are. I have a lot to discuss in terms of Drag Race, and we're going to do it right after the break, which we're going to take actually right now. Actually, we'll be back right after this. Roberto Mata, a lot to discuss in terms of Drag Race, but let's start with the most boring part, What were your thoughts? Because I have a whole show where I have my thoughts, but what were your thoughts on the latest episode of RuPaul's Drag Race All Star Season 9, Episode 10, Lip Sync Lollapalooza SmackDown? Give us your thoughts.
When the SmackDown Lollapalooza happened on season 16, I think I came on this mic and said that these episodes tend to not be my favorite because they're a little flat. And because of that, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this one. And I
Yes.
think that's really because of Roxy and the just some old school drag being on stage. I think we've seen tweets about that over the weekend, so it's not like that's a novel idea. But I was feeling it. I was vibing it. I wasn't watching it at a bar, unfortunately,
Hmm.
so I can't speak about how everyone enjoyed that component of it. But in my bed, I definitely gave it more than a few snaps and head nods and yes, work, Georges, and things of that sort.
No, there was something, and I clocked it. I didn't write it down, but I clocked it while I was watching the show. There was something that this season, and maybe because it's a stronger group of lip syncers as well, it was seemed much more streamlined than it has in the past. I think there's been times where they've done it and it's clunky, and they had the right number. It wasn't like, remember
Yes.
last year there was like a weird fucking ass elimination system because of whatever,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and this one, it was a streamlined elimination system. It made sense, and it was fun. And this, you know what? The music was fun too.
Yes. I think what also helps in that sense is as someone who's watched Drag Race uh, very closely for far too long, I remember all times these songs previously.
Hmm.
So I didn't really have to, and maybe this sounds a little bit far fetched, but I didn't have to pay too much attention to the music because it wasn't like I was hearing a new pop song for the first time or an
Yeah,
old classic and therefore was like uh, working with the lyrics or the emotions or whatever. I know all these songs
yeah,
backwards and forwards, and I know how drag queens perform them. So I was able to just watch the queens be the queens, do them, and they're all great, perfect songs. It was honestly like a regular Monday night at Showgirls run down. You know what I
yes,
mean?
yes. And also too, and look, I'm sure maybe I'm wrong about the producer manipulation and whatnot, but I think because the stakes were so low, I didn't get a sense that they were trying to, you know, rig how the balls were chosen and who gonna. Like, they were like, okay, let's just have fun, and we're gonna pick whatever balls, and people will go against who they go against, and I don't know. It seemed a lot more fun and a lot more easy breezy.
Yeah.
Uh,
I have a question for you.
yes, go ahead. I'm taking questions. The man
Yes.
in the front.
Hi, my name is Robert, longtime listener, first time caller. Do you think Bruno had a microphone on? Because they just couldn't seem to capture anything said.
Let's be honest. Even if he had a microphone on, do you think he would have said anything?
I would like to hear it.
There are people who know Bruno, right? I don't know. Some people
Yeah,
like who knows Bruno?
exact the name that was in your mouth,
Robert?
Christian.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say this Christian, and I think Jay might even know Bruno
Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah, and well, I wouldn't trust anything Christian said about what he was like.
Well,
Ugh.
Christian, the friends that I hang out with and that side of the West Hollywood circle, they all know Bruno and they all say the same thing, which is that he's just a delight to be around and very funny and very, very beautiful.
Yeah, that's the thing is with these pit crew, and it's too bad. There used to be a pit crew like Untucked show, right? What was it called again?
Oh, with Jason Carter and whoever else was on it. I don't
The
know. I
ginger.
don't remember. Oh, that would be Bryce. But
Yeah, Bryce. Um, yeah. But anyway, but other than that, you don't really get a sense of them, what they're like or anything like that. Why Jason Carter went away, I don't know. Uh, I don't know.
well,
Thank you.
I mean, I guess the truth is they're not supposed to be anything more than just eye candy. So,
True. It
although
was fun to
now,
have
even
Bruno on. Yeah.
though that one who was in the Rusical last week, I can't think of anything except Tadra calls X, Tadra calls X, Tadra calls X whenever he's on screen.
Oh, that guy who was in the Rusical last week was Todrick Hall's ex.
Yeah, he was the one who was tied up in the um, one of those room designing challenges on season 16,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
had
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, the
the
one
red
with the when
underwear
he
and the
was,
little
yeah, they had
possible boner.
yeah, and then he was in the Rusical last week.
Yeah,
Girl, I don't even notice. I don't even notice. Oh, I didn't notice.
Well, I see a
Sorry.
conventionally attractive WeHo gay, and then I'm like, who? Which one of them is that? And then I'm like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
it's Todrick Hall's ex. Never mind.
Um. So, okay. Any other thoughts?
Um, I mean, none really. But as you've said, Lollapaloozas aren't the most discussion generating topics, really. 'Cause there were no
Yeah.
robberies. Everyone did well enough. Music was great. Episode was great. People got more badges. Yeah, I just who leaves a drag show on a Monday at Showgirls, like I said, and says, let's discuss each number in
Very good
detail.
point. That is a very, very, very good point.
You just
Um.
nod your head and say, that was a great time.
Yeah, I had a fun time doing that. Yeah. Okay. Next topic: Canada versus the World 2.
Uh huh.
I have zero interest in covering this show. I, Joe Batance, will not be covering the show. I did text Robert during the week and go, if you want to cover it.
Is that just because of Miss Brooklyn Heights?
No, I don't. I thought about this actually. I mean, Brooklyn Heights is 80% of it. I'm not gonna lie, but I was also thinking, and because we're gonna talk about the Global All Stars Meet the Queens that dropped today, and we're gonna talk about that today. And I'll tip my hand a little bit and say that I actually want to cover Global All Stars. It looks fun. The cast seems fun. It's always great to have Alyssa on the screen. And it actually looks like something I would want to cover. They'll ask me 2 or 3 weeks in when I've committed, and I'm like, ugh, right? But as of now,
It is 12 whole weeks again,
that's fine.
Mom.
Look, Mama has to pay her bills, and so it helps me from having to think of content. Okay.
You mean your
So
movie tickets 4 times a week?
I know. Well, thank God I have one of those like movie pass things, that Alamo Draft Pass or whatever it's called. So there's that, right? But at least but it does seem like these versus the world seasons have become a sort of B or C team people, you know?
Sure. I'm fine
And
with that.
you're fine with B or C team, or fine with my opinion on that?
Both.
And so Brooklyn Heights matched with B team. It's okay. I don't need to cover it. But we
But
will
you
be
love
covering.
Kennedy Davenport so much.
I do love Kennedy Davenport, but like, and I probably would have hesitated, but once, okay, wait. So this time, because you're trying to get me into Global All Stars, and I want to talk about Canada, but Canada versus the World 2. I have zero opinion other than I don't want to do it. But what is your opinion on the cast
Well,
and what it looks like and whatnot?
I think it's not necessarily the cast I would have compiled, but I did say that about UK versus the World 2, and UK versus the World 2 I thought was a great season. Have I gone back to rewatch it? No, but that's because there's always something else to watch. And maybe someday there'll be some downtime and I'll go back and enjoy Le Grand Dame and everyone else again. I love Canada. I mean, the country's fine, but I love Canada's drag race. I love just like in general the versus the world seasons. So to me, I think this is going to be a fun, silly time. The first Canada versus the world, I confess, was not like the greatest season ever, but there were some queens on there that I was really happy to see again, and so I enjoyed it for that. And I'm sure this is going to be the exact same case. Probably not appointment viewing, but I do know that it's. I can't wait to see Alexis Mateo on my confessional screen again,
Yeah.
and Fierce Delicious just being a chaotic little gremlin, Brat, and even Eureka maybe might be entertaining. I know you love her ever since you interviewed her, so
I love her. She's always been very nice.
yeah.
But
Well,
that's
she
the
had
thing
a
is
good
that-
redemption in All Star 6, where I first personally went from being like, I think she's literally my least favorite drag queen ever, to being like, oh yeah, she's actually kind of fun.
Yeah. So you're gonna watch it. Sorry, I'm pulling up
Definitely.
the cast of Global All Stars, and but it's not gonna be appointment viewing for you.
No. But there's also so much going on, and because it's going to be running concurrently, at least for a little bit with Global All Stars, like Global All Stars is going to take precedence. And I think probably
Yeah.
exclusively, not for me, but I think in the broader Drag Race fandom, because of one Alyssa Edwards.
Yes, who will? The one thing you can say about Alyssa Edwards, no matter what you think, is she is going to be great television. You know?
Yeah, she's going to be the reason a lot of their audience is there.
Yes. And it's one of look, I said this for whatever All-Star season, the second time around that meet that the fuck is that bitch's name? I forgot it again. The glamour toad.
Ginger Minge.
Ginger Minge. I was like, oh well, she's gonna win. And then she didn't. Sonique won. Kylie Sonique Love. And but I mean, I cannot see a world where Alyssa Edwards does not just walk away with this whole thing.
That might be American exceptionalism coming out in you, Mama.
But Mama, but I'm just talking about just straight up. I don't see her going on the show unless she's like, I mean, I know she wouldn't do this, but like a sort of like tacit agreement, like I'm gonna come on the show to get my crown.
Probably, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I do agree with you. I think she's very obviously the winner here, but I think that's in part because almost everyone else is from the first or second iteration of their country's drag race, and they just haven't had as much time to cook and evolve as Alyssa Edwards has.
No, here's the thing though. It could be a thing like the original Rocky, where if people don't know the spoiler alert, the original Rocky doesn't win. In fact, the point of Rocky is that he loses. Okay, and that was I'm not going to get into the history of the movie Rocky, but what the victory was he held his own. This nobody boxer held his own the entire time against the heavyweight champion of the world. And I'm almost wondering if this is the real prize of this whole thing is being able to showcase your talent and if hopefully hold your own against, probably if you take Trixie and Katya out of the equation and maybe even put them in the equation, the most popular drag queen to ever be on this show.
Yeah.
Just fairly beloved. I take Trixie and Katya out of the equation because I feel there's a whole rabid preteen fan base that they have. But I'm talking about adult fans of RuPaul's Drag Race. I mean, she is just beloved. And
I mean, she would be on the Mount Rushmore of Drag Race.
Yes, in fact, yes, 100%. And so, like, maybe that's the real challenge. Can you be in the finals with her and hold your own against her? Kind of like UK versus the world, going back to UK versus the world too. I mean, even though she didn't win, it was a great showcase for Marina Summers.
Yeah.
And
for Le Grand Dame.
Yeah,
and
100%.
I mean, I guess I haven't really seen Tia Kofi's like social capital really rise since she won. So the question always is like, how much does winning matter?
No,
apart from possibly getting a invitation to a potential all-winner season and being able to therefore be on another season.
Yes. And here's the thing too, is clearly the World of Wonder and Paramount Plus believe in this because it's actually not going to be on, I mean, maybe it will be on World of Wonder, but they're putting it on the Paramount Plus platform. So they do see it for sure as some sort of like first class show. I mean, it got 12 weeks on Paramount Plus.
Yeah. I mean, Paramount Plus is on its last breath.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying in terms of Viacom's platforms, they're not relegating it to. It's not like Canada versus the World 2 where you have to watch it on World of Wonder. Thank you. All right, let's talk about each of the queens. I only know a few of them from the seasons that I've watched, but Alyssa Edwards, I mean, we already went on. Do we need to even talk about her any more than she did?
I think that there will be a lot said. I have no doubt that. So one thing that it's good about Global All Stars is that this is a bottom 2 lip sync for your life format.
Okay, great.
Which is, I think, I would love to see Alyssa Edwards lip sync for her life again.
She's going to have to at least do it once, right?
I hope so. I would love to just feel the drama. She's going to make the finale no matter what. So I would love to see her lip sync before that.
I don't know if I'm going to say all these names right. Athena Lycus? from Drag Race Belgium.
Yeah, Belgium.
Any thoughts here? I don't know anything about her. Did you watch this season? Hello.
Hello.
Okay, there's a really strong delay. Or did you answer?
You there,
or-
Joe?
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
I heard you say Athena and cut out. I wasn't sure if you were still talking.
Oh no, I don't know. Did you have any thoughts on her?
On Athena,
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting since Belgium now it's had 2 seasons, but it hasn't really had much of an like exposure on the Drag Race franchise at large. So Athena's going to have to prove to us what Belgium can do and why she was. I'm pretty sure she was the runner-up from her season, if not third place. So hopefully she's able to pull through and show us what the fuck Belgian drag's about. Because from where I'm sitting now, the only Belgian queen I'm super familiar with is Joriji Derkli, who competed in Drag Race Spain. And I don't know that that's necessarily Belgian drag. So I'm interested in that.
All right, very good. Let's go over to Eva La Queen from Drag Race Philippines. Now, I didn't watch Drag Race Philippines. I only know Marina Summers from UK versus the World too. Did you watch Drag Race Philippines? Do you know anything about this person?
I did, yeah. Eva La Queen was an interesting character throughout the season. I'm not sure that I ever really connected with her, but I think because I spent more time with like watching it, like paying attention to Zilhouette and Marina, and actually even then the winner, Precious Paul Nicole, I couldn't tell you too much about her because she wasn't, as far as I was concerned, super charismatic. But I think she has a lot of really ostentatious big drag, and I think that makes perfect sense with what we just saw Marina do on UK versus the World 2. So I'm hoping that it brings something that we've gotten a lot of this year in particular, which is just like Asian excellence, generally speaking, and in this case, Filipina excellence.
All right. Next, we have Galavaro from Drag Race Mexico. Now, I am familiar with her. I think this is the first one I know. I think she's a very, very strong queen. So we'll see how she performs with RuPaul judging. What are your thoughts on this?
I think she's just a silly goose, and I love silly goose drag. It makes it even better because she has a PhD in biomedicine and was a professor. And she was probably the one more than anyone that it was very funny to see her on screen and then start hearing her speak English rather than their native tongue. It's like, oh my, she sounds so different. And honestly, I know we say this about Drag Race Mexican queens all the time, but that's like literally my cousin. Like just hearing her
100%.
voice. And I am really excited to see her just be back on screen. I wonder if she's gonna do her favorite thing, which is not tuck, and then just do some crazy cartwheels and splits and all that other kind of stuff that she did on Drag Race Mexico.
Also, I think she's really hot. Thank you.
Yeah, I think she knows that too.
Yeah. She knows that. In fact, she said, I know Joe Batanz from Drag Race Recap thinks I'm really hot. And it's weird. And I'm going to stop talking to him now. Okay, next we have Kitty Scott Claus from Drag Race UK. I am familiar with her. I did watch her season. Your thoughts on her?
I'm going negative, I think, for the first time today. I think UK3 was probably the worst season of all time, maybe even rivaling like All Stars 8. It was just Bad News Bears, and I never connected with Kitty. I never found her funny. I just didn't care for most of her looks. I was also going through a bad time in my life when UK3 came out, so just seeing Kitty puts me contextually in not the happy drag place I like to be in, I gotta say. So I think out of everyone on the cast, I'm least excited to see her, unfortunately.
For those of you listening at home thinking that I am aware of what Robert's talking about, I have no idea what he's talking about in terms of like the bad time in his life. He drops these vague Robert-isms.
But what do you mean? I'm just saying that's why. Maybe I don't like Kitty because of Kitty. Maybe I just dislike Kitty because of what I was going through at the time.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, maybe.
But I do know that in a time in my life where Drag Race usually gives me an hour-long respite from my woes, UK3 made it actively worse.
What? Why is she playing badminton in this picture? This promotional picture I'm watching. She's playing badminton.
Because it's vaguely posh.
I guess. And she's doing that thing where she's playing badminton, but she has a look on her face like she's surprised that she's playing badminton. I'm like, well, bitch, you have the net in your hand and you're hitting those. What are they called? Like cock.
The birdies,
The birdies have a name like cock something or other.
cockwassel, cock. Oh,
Yeah,
that maybe
wait,
they
now I
give
gotta
cock
look it
swing.
up. Hold on.
Yeah, Michelle, Carson Kresge would be very upset with us right now.
Yes, exactly. Badminton birdie name. Shuttlecock. So
Shuttlecock.
she's hitting the shuttlecock, and it's like, "What am I doing?" And I'm like, "Bitch, you have a net in your hand. Why are you surprised?" Anyway, sorry.
Why are you asking for logic from promo?
But this is the thing: is I'm looking like, okay, Galavados. I'm looking at that one. She's just dressed fiercely in some sort of vaguely represent Mexican colors, looking hot, right?
Yes.
Kitty Scott Claus has a net in her hand and is hitting a bunch of shuttlecocks, and she's like, "Oh, what am I doing?" That look on her face, like, "How is this happening?" As if
Well, I
she
think
like.
she thinks it's camp.
All right, Queen Kong from Drag Race Down Under. I have a lot of thoughts on this. And do you know who she is? Did you watch Drag Race Down Under?
I did. Season 2. I liked Queen a lot up until she randomly got really, really pissed at I think it was Beverly Kills for making a very lukewarm read at her, and then she was just angry and bitter the rest of the episode. And I was like, you are obviously like the top competitor here and should be overconfident, and that's all great. So why would you let this little twink get under your skin like that? It was, I think I never really changed my opinion of her after, because I was like, what? It seemed like it was all a facade, I guess, after that.
So I guess you and I might have a different opinion. This will come out during the season, even though we'll talk about this after we cover the girls. About you doing the season, I think you should. I mean, I would love to do it with you, but aren't you going to get burned out? Thank you.
Well, that's always been your accusation more than it's been anything real.
Okay. All right. So Queen Kong. My whole thing with her is look, and I've talked about this many times in the past. Being good at RuPaul's Drag Race does not necessarily correlate with your quality of drag. So she walked into this competition and with a huge reputation. Everybody knew who she was. And I will say that as a drag race competitor, she was not a good drag race competitor. She reminds me a lot of Mayhem Miller. You know, like Mayhem Miller came in and people had almost the same reaction as people did when Sasha Colby walked in, except Sasha Colby was able to back it up on the competition. And Mayhem Miller had this reputation that preceded her, and then just competitively can't do it, you know? And I feel that with Queen Kong. She came in, she has that one move she does where she spins like a fucking something or other in the middle of the air. And
it's a sick move.
It is a sick move, but it's one of those things. It's almost like being a comedian or a magician. Is if that's your one thing, don't do it on TV because now we've all seen it, you know. And I don't know. I think she's on Global All Stars because they want, just like they brought Mayhem Miller back a couple of times. They want her to live up to her reputation on the show that she has just in the world of drag. And I just don't know if it's there. We'll see.
There's a very similar storyline going into Canada versus the World 2 for Tainomi Banks, who was pretty much also seen before going into Canada season 1 as like one of the most established, seasoned powerhouses of the scene. And then unfortunately just sort of crumbled on the show. And she's coming back for Canada versus the World season 2, so hopefully she'll be able to regain some of her mojo.
And I think there's a few
Queen
queens like
Kong,
this.
I never thought she was quite that archetype. Actually, I thought she did well on the show, even though she did lip sync a lot.
Yeah, I just felt like it's a thing that bothered her during the show was I am so beloved and respected, and I'm not living up to what people are expecting of me back home.
Yeah.
But going back
I
to what
guess
we're talking
maybe
about,
that's why she let Beverly Kills get under her skin.
maybe
Make me be like, girl, you should not be worried about that.
wasn't that the same thing with Joe Black as well? Like, didn't he have quite? Or I don't know how they identify, but like, didn't Joe Black have quite the reputation in the UK as well going in?
Yeah, but I don't think what's good about Joe Black is that Joe Black's known for their cabaret shows and
Mm-hmm.
just being a really, really amazing musical artist. That doesn't, when I say musical artist, I don't mean like a pop star, but their talents were always seen outside of the lens of what Drag Race can offer. So I think
Mm-hmm.
they didn't really sully their reputation, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't live in the UK, but I don't think any less of Joe Black because of bombing on the show.
Well, here's the deal. I think RuPaul's tantrum sort of redeemed Joe Black in that I think RuPaul with the whole H&M, that's with Joe Black, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with that tantrum, I think people were very like, that's really odd
No,
thing she
it
just did.
was, yeah.
And it made people feel sympathy for Joe Black and was like, okay, well, maybe you're not for the show and that's not your fault. And
And not
whatnot.
even to go back on UK2 for too long, but there was always controversy about whether or not Rue and Michelle understood the Brighton Pavilion and Joe Black's
Mhm.
outfit that got sent her home the first time. And similarly, what the fuck were they talking about when they said that Joe Bowie, David Bowie homage look wasn't Bowie enough? It was Joe Black's entire run was just sort of mired by confusing choices, not
Well,
by
I
Joe,
think
by production.
even though they're not similar, I think there's a similar vein of not understanding like Tammy Brown. And
They are a little similar though.
but Tammy Brown was just on, I think she was on Hey Queen or whatever, and talked about, I think Johnny McGovern asked if she would come back on the show, and she said she would, but that she realized she would go home first. Like she just knows
Oh,
that
well, I would
she,
hope that she went home second, as is tradition.
or maybe go home early, I should say. And I think RuPaul wants to get Tammy Brown, but just can't. And I also think because there's pictures, famously in that picture of RuPaul with Raja, Tammy's in the picture too. So I'm sure there's an element of Tammy's behavior which is very like, well, bitch, I knew this bitch when she was at Peanuts in
Mm-hmm.
1990. Why
Mm-hmm.
I don't see her as this, you know, like the
Deity of
way
drag.
on the Meet the Queens for Global All Stars, they were talking as if like Jesus Christ was come, this was that they were being judged by Jesus, and it's
Yeah,
like I think Tammy just sees Rue as another queen.
I definitely that makes a lot of sense with. Not that I can make sense of Tammy's brain any more than anyone else, but I feel like she's probably a lot more egalitarian in her thinking than a lot of the other queens who are constantly like, "Oh, Mama Rue, Mama this, Queen of Drag, whatever."
Well, if you think back to that season 1 reunion, I mean they all not just Tammy, they all fight back at RuPaul because they see RuPaul as maybe an elevated peer, but not necessarily, you know, a god. And so anyway.
Well, we haven't gotten to this queen yet, but Soa Demuse said, it was cute to be Nikki, who I love, but now I'm being judged by RuPaul. And maybe
Yes.
the season 1 queens thought much in the same way that the French queens think about Nikki.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Because as I've said before, by that point, RuPaul was a washed-up one-hit wonder from like 15 years before. Like she wasn't Mama Ru. Let's talk about Nelenia. She's from Drag Race Italia. Did you watch that season, Robert?
I did. I didn't finish it, and I need to go back and finish it because there are a few queens who I really, really loved on that season. At the time, Nelenia was not one of
Mm-hmm.
them because she's just and I think that this could be endearing, possibly this season, but she's hyper. Like she's just like a kid who's had way too much sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, like I said, that could be endearing with some time. But when I was watching Italia season 2 the first time, I was just like, please take a chill pill.
Mm-hmm.
But she's very talented.
Okay, but based on her picture, she doesn't seem wild. But I could see that she's on a bike.
What would you rather she was hitting shuttlecocks with a shocked
I'm
face?
telling you, but here's the deal. I'm gonna go back to that. I'm glad you said that. She's on the bike, but she doesn't look puzzled that she's on a bike. She's just doing a fierce look of her riding a bike. My whole thing is, why is she puzzled that she's holding a badminton net and hitting shuttlecocks.
Why are you puzzled that a camp queen from the UK is posing with their mouth wide open?
Miranda Lebrão from Drag Race Brazil. Your thoughts here?
I think Miranda is super talented and super brainy. And so it'll be interesting to see that as the Brazilian representation, where I think, at least from my American perspective, I probably expected someone from Brazil who's a little bit more zany and high energy and crazy, whereas Miranda's a little bit more introspective and demure. But I think she's also very talented. The great thing about this season is that nearly everyone is a finalist.
Oh,
except
really?
for the beloved Alyssa Edwards, who is like spiritually a finalist, and Tessa Testicle, who has her own talents. But actually, like everyone else is.
I only saw a brief shot of her, but Tessa Testicle might be hot. I can't tell.
I think that is what the internet's learning today.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I would have said Pythia, but Drew said Pythia.
Yeah, it's pronounced Pythia.
And Pythia, she's from Canada's Drag Race. You know what? I'll be honest with you. Maybe it's something about the Commonwealths. She's playing. Well, I don't know if she looks puzzled. She is using her finger and fighting someone, almost like fencing.
It's fencing, girl.
She could be surprised. I'm not sure her mouth is open. Tell me about Pythia. I'm sorry, Pythia.
Pythia is, she said in her Meet the Queens that she's originally from Greece and moved to Canada, presumably because of the awful economy. But she learned English and is, clearly representing Canada rather than Greece. But she has lots of Grecian references in her drag. And I'd say Canada season 2 was a very competitive season, in due part because Pythia is so super intellectual and super capable and super artistic that I'm really excited to see her runways again and just like hear her commentary on things.
All right, very good.
She's
Next,
a great queen.
The person we just talked about, Tessa Testicle. I think I saw a brief glimpse that she might be hot as a boy. Tell me about her. She's from Drag Race Germany.
Yeah, I didn't finish Germany either. I think I got about 4 episodes in, but I do know that Tessa did not make the finale there. But she did send a lot of girls home lip syncing.
Oh, I see.
And I have to confess that there is not a lot more I could tell you about her at this point. She seems pretty cocky, though.
I just want to know why you would choose a name like Tessa Testicle.
In Germany.
Yeah. Vanity Vane from Drag Race Sweden. Did you watch that season?
Another one that I watched the first half of and then fell off and never finished. So I know Vanity was, again, I'm pretty sure runner-up. And I specifically meant to rewatch some more of Sweden before the Global All-Stars cast was announced so that I could speak more intelligently on her. But we were, I don't know, was everyone surprised that it dropped on a Monday morning at 9 a.m.?
It's usually on a Tuesday at 9 a.m.
It just felt very abrupt, and I have not gone back to watch more of Sweden, so I cannot tell you a lot about Vanity because I don't remember virtually anything about her in the 4 or 5 episodes that I watched, which I hate to admit out loud, but I'm just trying to be honest.
And finally, we have, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Soa de Muse?
Muse.
Oh, Soa de Muse, okay. And she's from Drag Race France, looking like in this picture, like it's RuPaul in a pussycat wig. But what can you tell us about her?
I love Soa de Muse. She was in France season 1. And she brought, I think, a lot kind of like Bibi Zahar Benet brought to season 1. Even though, just by nature of an American watching French, I felt that, everything was not exotic, but everything was foreign. But Soa de Muse brought a very global spin to Drag Race France. Mind you, so did Lolita Banana as a Mexican Drag Race France season 1, but the judges really were not living for her Mexican culture on France, whereas they did, for the most part, give respect and credence to Soa de Muse is French Caribbean cultural expression on the show. And almost every one of the queens in the Meet the Queen said that Zoe Demuse is one of their main friends. So to me, it's screaming miscongeniality, which makes sense with the character I saw on Drag Race France season 1. She's another good queen who is a runner-up who I'm excited to see more of.
Very good. Well, that's the queens. Now, usually I don't have enough information about these queens, but you would seem to. If you had to guess a top 3 for this season, who are you guessing?
So to preface it, I think that it's obvious that the English speakers are going to have the easiest time with this season.
Mm-hmm.
I would want some non-RuPaul franchise, non-English speaking queens to be up at the top, but I think how could it not be Alyssa and Queen at the very least?
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, even though I don't care to see her there, probably Kitty. But it's just like that's like the most basic.
Are you just basing because of
thing.
RuPaul already knows these people?
Yeah, and the fact that they speak English natively. I would love to see Pythia up there actually. Now that I think about it, because yeah, switch Kitty for Pythia, because I think that would round out that top 3 a lot better. Because Alyssa, actually, even now that I think about it, Alyssa and Queen do a lot of the same things as drag queens, and carry a lot of the same gravitas. So in very different ways, but. I don't know. That sounds kind of repetitive now that I think about it. All I know is that Alyssa's probably winning.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, well, this is running very long, and you've kindly done this during your lunch break because, once again, I don't have Rulaska Thoughts in my calendar. And so I schedule things, and I'm like, what? Anyway. So thank you for that. But then you have to get back to work. You have to get back to doing whatever Robert does.
Well, I have to work, girl.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I know what you do for work in like a vague idea way, but I don't know specifically what your day-to-day is like.
Jobs.
Huh?
Yeah, I take meetings. I write emails. I work in spreadsheets. I get in little arguments that don't matter personally to me. And then I continue with my life.
Do you have friends at work?
Yeah, but because I work as the corporate representative for production, my production teams change every time a show changes, so I don't really necessarily get the same people around me all the time.
But are there people?
But then they
like,
come back on
yes,
future seasons, other shows, and I'm like, hey, what's up?
Do you have like a rule that you won't date anyone at work?
Sorry, you're cutting out again, girl. I don't know what's up with the audio quality today.
I know what it is. This is what happens when you have to go live and whatnot. I think we can't go live. Even though it's not recording. All right, guys, we'll talk
blame
soon.
Spectrum.
Yeah, we'll talk soon, everybody. All right.